Lindsay. Good to see you. How did class yesterday feel? Had you been to the Ray Street one before?
I've been there once, but like a year ago.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see how you changed
Sequence?
the hour,
Yeah. Outside class is very different than inside class.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of outdoor things for someone who likes air conditioning.
I told Eric, I said yes to all of the stuff in February.
Oh.
And now I'm like, I said yes to all of it. But I think Sunday was the last one, and now I'm exclusively indoors. And
I missed the one last week because I failed to schedule a time to come get my yoga mat in there when it was open. And it looked like it was a beautiful night for it.
it was, have you been to that building before? I had never seen it. I can't tell if it's a new construction or if it's an old building that they've refurbished, but essentially it's on 4th and Vine, and it's a wellness apartment.
Yeah, I looked it up.
You,
I booked it because I had booked it, so I was
yeah,
about it. It's interesting.
it's very cool. And she was saying, as I was coming up, like the apartments are fully done, the condos or apartments, but a lot of it is still under construction. So they said by the fall or winter in the basement, they're gonna have a whole wellness studio. So like sauna, hot tub, cold plunge. She said something that I haven't Googled it yet, but I'm so curious, an immune system reset. And so, maybe that might have been it, but it might have been something different. But I'm so curious as to what that. I think it's like the whole wellness experience of, like maybe red light therapy and blue light therapy. But the idea is, you go in there and everything is set for you. And they have all of these events. Like they did a Pilates series a couple of months ago. Three Queens is doing the yoga. I think coming in the fall they'll do some other stuff. But that roof is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Perfect weather, like not a drop of, it was a break in the humidity. And I said, this is why I teach outside. But then hot all the time. Hi, Amy, it's good to see you. Your trip looked amazing.
Thank you, yeah, it really was.
How long was it for?
2.5 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I felt very fortunate.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, what am I doing?
Where am I?
No yoga.
I know. That's amazing. Did you guys travel around a bunch, or you stayed in one spot?
Yeah. And then we were in Windsor for a week.
Cool.
Just because I used to live near there, so.
Yeah. Nostalgia.
It was there, which was really nice. Yeah, it was very nostalgic.
Oh.
This is a nostalgic tour.
Did it feel like a lot had changed, or did it seem the same?
Not a ton. Like, I've been to that area like more recently, but I would say when I was in Manchester, it changed a lot. I would say. But yeah, it's hard. I don't
Like you were familiar, you could figure out kind of where, yeah.
totally familiar. Yeah, there were things I was like, I think something else used to
Yeah.
like I think,
Yeah.
Like, and there was a lot more like entertainment. Like there's been such a growth of like those like indoor like like here now we have this like Formula One arcade.
Yeah, yeah,
Like these or like darts indoors.
yeah.
All those darts as well.
Hi.
Like mini golf. I don't know. There was a lot of that which I thought was interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's the
Fun.
yeah, but we didn't really.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was a very city very
Hi, Lisa.
like 20 something.
Uh-huh.
Just a lot of and
Activity.
yeah. And also the Oasis concert was Friday night, so we didn't stay that night, but the whole
Buzzing.
like there were like big giant pictures of the brothers like advertising like Adidas.
Yeah, the city was lit up for it.
Yeah, and the official like car of the concert was the marketing was anyway, it was
I mean, I guess you just have to capitalize.
really okay, yeah. It was
I was
everywhere.
like, wow, they actually really do like Oasis.
No, I know. It was everywhere. It was like when we left Manitoba and other places, it was still all of this
Yeah.
going on.
Wow.
Need the money.
Fun. Hi, y'all. Good to see you. We'll start in just a moment. We're waiting on a few more folks, but take your time to get comfortable. The air conditioning is on. It'll stay on. And we'll use all the props this afternoon. So you can have 2 blocks, a strap. We'll take some time to roll, so if you'd like to grab some therapy balls now or later, I can bring those to you too. And then I always like to suggest a blanket if you know your knees get a little tender, putting them down on the mat, if you'd just like some extra padding. Hello. Okay. Last Monday of July. Next week, August is upon us. But for those of us that have been together for the past few weeks, we've been working on one pose in different orientations to gravity. And today will be kind of the cherry on top. But we'll do it for the last round until we revisit it again next year. But as a reminder, each one of these yoga poses and postures, they extend ourselves, we stretch ourselves, we find different length and space that we might not have had before. But each one of these yoga poses also has a really lovely mythological story that they're associated with that almost makes them larger than life. And this pose that we'll work towards today is no exception. So today and the past couple of weeks, we've been working towards Hanumanasana, or full splits. We've taken it on the floor, we've taken it to the wall. Today we'll visit it in different orientations to gravity. But as a reminder, the pose itself is named after one of the great lords of yoga, one of the most famous characters in the yogic and Hindu traditions. And he is Lord Hanuman, the one who has the face of a monkey, the body of a human, and a long tail that helps him leap from known destinations into the unknown. He leaps from one universe to the other, one region to the other, never knowing where his ending territory will be. So today's story that I'll tell you about is no exception. It's the one where, I think I said it last week, but a little longer version of it today, where he flies into the kingdom of Lanka to save the kidnapped princess, but on his way back, his tail gets caught on fire, and it's all the tribulations that he gets into as he starts to come back to the region where he was originally from. So we'll see where it takes us as we take Hanumanasana, upside down, right side up, and in different ways in gravity. But I'm glad we're all here. Also, there's a few new faces. So on the off chance we didn't officially say hi to each other, my name is Anisha. Thanks for coming. Take breaks, sip water. It'll stay cold. The humidity is working outside, and the air conditioning will work even more inside. So let me know as soon as you need any difference in temperature. But let's begin together in a comfortable seat, however that looks for you. You might begin lying down on the ground. You might start with your legs crossed underneath you. If you are seated, perhaps you notice what it feels like to sit up on any propping, your blanket or your block, so that your hip bones can naturally fall higher than your knees. To let both your hip flexors lengthen and soften, and to let your low back really lift and lengthen. And as your hands fall anywhere they fall, into your lap, or on top of your thighs, let your eyes close so you can listen for your breath. When we close our eyes, it's a moment to see yourself more clearly than before. To momentarily tune out that external stimuli. And to draw your attention more inward to that interior landscape. So as you take a few moments to notice and listen for your breath, can you let each breath softly dissolve the morning and the afternoon that was? Let each breath help you arrive to where you are now. And every breath that comes after makes a little more room for what has yet to come. So as each of your breaths begins to naturally deepen, can you send your next inhale from your nose down into your belly and up into your heart? And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through the very crown of your head, creating more space for more breath. A few more rounds just on your own as each inhale moves in, down, and wide. And every exhale offers itself up and out through each fiber of your being. We'll begin our practice and our time together with 3 more rounds of that same breath. Give yourself a moment to draw your hands to center anywhere that feels for you, somewhere on your person or in front of your heart in that moment of self-reverence. Wait for your inhale as it fills you up completely, and exhale to offer that breath out. 2 more times, just on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and remember your breath. And now, keeping that attention inward as best as you can, let your hands release, gently blink your eyes open, and to come forward to tabletop to begin to link breath and movement together through a few rounds of cat and cow. I like that Matt is on the internet version. So in your table, you might have your blocks framing out the front corners of your mat. Perhaps you use them as we begin to move about. Let your hands be under your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, and with your knees under your hips, curl all 10 of your toes under. Feel those arches and the webbing of your feet. If you haven't started already, begin to round and arch your spine, moving with your breath through a few rounds of cat and cow. Let's take 4 cycles of breath here together. Really noticing what it feels like, not just to move your body in an isolated way, but how your body and your breath can begin to harmonize together. Take 2 more long breaths in. You might stay in the rounded or arched shape for a few extra breaths. You might even move more forward and back. But as you find your next exhale, come back to table, find your neutral spine. Walk your hands a handprint forward of your shoulders. Bring your knees back behind your hips. And with your toes curled under, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take as much time and all the breaths you need to find your way there. In this first down dog of class, bring your feet an inch or 2 wider than they already are. Lift both of your heels and soften your knees to let the backs of your legs and hamstrings release. Now with your knees soft, can you stick your butt up and back towards the wall behind you? Keep your left knee bent as you pedal your right heel towards the earth to notice what you feel in the back of your right leg. Now bend your right knee, lift your butt up to the sky, and pedal your left heel to the ground, noticing any difference. A big breath in. And as you exhale, lift both of your heels, soften your knees to look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk those feet towards your hands to come into your forward fold. Those blocks might be right there for your hands to come up onto blocks out in front of your feet. You might widen your feet a couple of inches or soften your knees in service of giving your low back and your hips some extra room. But let that head be heavy. And if it feels appropriate for your neck and shoulders, even gently nod your head yes, and slowly nod your head no to bow in towards yourself. A big breath in, and a deeper breath out. And now hands climb up onto your hips, stand through your legs, and on your inhale, come all the way up to rise as you release your hands by your sides. With your feet right under your hips, take an inhale to reach your arms forward and up to the sky. On your exhale, soften your knees to fold over your legs. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, grow long through your spine. And on your exhale, fold, plant your palms, and step it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. You might have your knees up, they might be down, But without moving your arms or legs, can you energetically hug your legs towards each other as if your legs could become one pillar? Now hug your palms towards each other. Feel your forearms and biceps engage. Slide your ears back. Let your head come in line with your heart as you take a big breath in. And on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. With your hands as wide as your mat, take up space as you rise for cobra or baby cobra. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog, tabletop, or puppy pose for 3 slow, steady breaths. Let each inhale move from your nose into your belly. And as you exhale, push down and forward through your hands so your hips can lift up and back towards the wall behind you. A deeper breath in as it fills you up. And a longer breath out. Let the hips lift high and let your heels feel heavy towards your mat. At the bottom of your breath, lift both heels. Soften your knees to look forward and come forward, feet to your hands, into your forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen. Grow long through that spine. And exhale to fold in towards yourself. With those feet 2 fists width apart and your toes pointing straight ahead, bend your knees, sit your hips back, climb your palms up onto your thighs for Utkatasana, chair pose. See that the knees can guide open towards your second and third toes. And as your hips stay heavy, press into your legs to lift your chest away from the ground. Stay right here for more steadiness in your low back. Feel free to add some heat in the upper body as you reach your arms up overhead, but take a full breath in and down. Stay for your exhale. Let your hips get heavier to the earth as you lift your heart away from the floor. Inhale to come all the way to rise. Reach up to touch the sky. And on your exhale, fold, bowing in towards yourself. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot all the way back to catch your lunge. And as you come high up onto your fingertips or blocks on either side of your right foot, wiggle your left toes back another inch or 2 so you get longer in your stance. Now keep your left hand down. Reach your right arm straight ahead towards the front of the room. And as you stretch forward through the right fingertips, can you wrap your right hip towards the back of your mat? Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, begin to twist open to the right, a big circle. Reach the right arm back and then forward. 2 more. Inhale to grow long through the right fingertips. Hi. Exhale to twist open to the right. Follow your breath. The 3rd time you twist to the right, stay here for a breath as you reach your right arm to the sky. Lift your back heel, knee and thigh higher. Wrap your right hip back and then lean back against yourself as you find a long breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend 1 more inch into your front thigh. Now inhale to unwind, lower your right hand. Take all the hops you need to step your left foot forward to meet your right. Inhale to lengthen halfway, grow long through the spine. And exhale to fold in towards yourself with those feet 2 fists width apart. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, Utkatasana, round 2. As your hips sit heavy towards the back of your mat, press into your thighs to lift your chest. You can stay right here or reach your arms up overhead, but take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Think butt heavy to the back of your mat as you lift your heart away from the earth. Now on your inhale, come all the way up to rise. Reach up to touch the sky and exhale to fold in towards yourself. Keep your left foot forward, step your right foot all the way back. I'm gonna actually have you face that way so that you guys don't face each other, if that's all right. On your next inhale, keep your left foot forward, right foot back, and with your right hand down, reach your left arm straight ahead towards the front of the room. Stretch forward through the left fingertips, wrap your left hip back, a big breath in, and on your exhale, twist open to the left. 2 more with your breath. Notice what the wrist, the shoulder, the fingertips feel like. And the 3rd time you twist to the left, stay here for a few breaths. As the left arm reaches to the ceiling, lift your right heel, knee, and thigh high. Wrap your left hip back, and then can you lean back against yourself as you take a bigger breath in. Stay for 1 more exhale and bend into your front thigh. Now inhale to unwind, lower your hands. Step your left foot back to meet your right, to meet in downward facing dog. Follow your breath more than my voice. Inhale through to plank pose. On your exhale, lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for your breath to rise, Cobra Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. From your down dog, float your right leg up and back. Step it forward to catch your lunge. And wait for your inhale to come up to rise for a high lunge. Reach your arms and your chest to the sky. Walk your right foot an inch or two over to the right so your feet are less on that balance beam. But as you lift your back heel, wrap your left hip forward, tack your right hip back, and stretch up through the fingertips. A big breath in. As you exhale, bend one more inch into your front thigh. Now hands come to your hips. Tiny bend in your back knee, get springy, and all the hops you need to spring off your left foot. Stand down through your right leg, grow 1 inch taller through the crown of your head. And now lower both feet down onto the earth. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. Lean into your left foot, lift your right heel, and for standing figure 4, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Your hands can go anywhere to steady you, on your hips. They might come high up onto blocks out in front of you. You might also reach them up overhead. But do your best to flex that right foot as you take a big breath in and down. Stay for your exhale. Sit 1 inch lower to the earth as you lift your chest and your gaze away from the floor. Now inhale to come all the way up to rise. Lower your feet to the ground. Feel gravity underneath you. Reach your arms all the way up. And as you bring your right hand to your right hip, reach up through your left fingertips and tip up and over to the right hand side, a side bend. Breathe here into that left side of your waist. And as you slide the ears back, maybe your arms come back in line with your ears. Maybe your right hand grabs onto your left wrist as you tip up and over to the right. Inhale to come all the way up through center. Get tall as you reach up. And exhale to fold in towards yourself. Plant your palms to the top of your mat. Step your feet all the way back to the back of your mat to come back to down dog. Follow your breath more than my voice. Inhale through to plank pose. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to rise for your Cobra Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, we meet in downward facing dog as you lift your hips up and back. From your down dog, float your left leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Wait for your breath as you come up to rise for high lunge on the second side. You might walk your left foot an inch or two over to the left. But as your right heel lifts up off the earth, wrap your right hip towards the front of your mat, tack your left hip back, and see if you can look away from the ground to where you're going. A big breath in. Stay for the exhale. You might bend into your left thigh. Now your hands can stay overhead or bring them to your hips, but tiny bend in your back knee, get springy, and hop off your right foot. As you stand through your left leg, grow 1 inch taller through the very top of your head. And now lower both feet to the ground. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. Lean into your right foot, lift your left heel. And for pigeon chair or standing figure 4, cross your left ankle over the thigh. As your hands go anywhere to steady you, remember your breath, a big breath that goes in and down. And as you exhale, sit 1 inch lower to the earth as you lift your heart, even your gaze, away from the floor. Now inhale to come all the way up to rise. Lower your feet to the ground. Feel gravity beneath you. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Grow tall through the right fingertips and up and over to the left for a side bend. You can keep your hand on your hip to steady you. You might let your left hand grab your right wrist. But as you tip to the left, think ears back to lift your chin. Maybe slide your arms back in line with your ears. And now big breath in to come up through center. Reach up to get taller than you've been before. And on your exhale, fold in toward yourself. Plant your palms to the top of your mat. Step your feet all the way back to the back of your mat for downward facing dog. And now from your down dog, inhale through to plank pose. And as you exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, make a pillow with your hands. Rest on your forehead or on one of your cheeks. Close your eyes for a moment. And can you call yourself back to your breath? There's poses in our yoga practice that are meant to warm the body, to test your capacity for breath. But one of the purposes of this practice is not to stay in this heart-filled place, this racing heart place. Can you call yourself back to the full fluency of your breath as you take a long breath in and down? And as you exhale, offer every drop of that breath out. Now, after a few breaths here on the earth, we'll take a round of locust pose, Shalabhasana. So stay on your belly, reach your arms alongside of you, and flip your palms down to face the floor. Before we lift up, like you did in that first plank, without moving your legs, can you energetically hug your legs towards each other as if they could become one pillar? Now hug your shoulder blades together. On your inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, float your palms up off of the earth, and exhale to lift your legs up and away from the ground as you take flight. Let your eyes soften or close to listen for your breath. With each inhale, think inner thighs towards each other and the inseams of your pants towards the sky. Now hug the shoulder blades together as you lift your palms a centimeter more, a big breath in. And on your exhale, release. Rest on the other cheek, rest on your other palm. You might wiggle your hips from one side to the other or stay still. But let the full depth of your breath wash its way over you. In through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. Sit after a few breaths on the ground, bring your hands to either side of your chest. Press yourself up through to all fours into your tabletop. You might sit onto your heels, sip some water, shake out your wrists, and we'll spend a few moments on the knees. So if you'd like to grab a blanket for some extra padding, please feel free to do so. You might also have blocks underneath your hands. But a few things on the knees as you come into all fours into your tabletop. Once you're in table with your hands on the ground or up on blocks, bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand for this lizard lunge. Can you walk your left knee back just an inch or two so your knee isn't directly under your hip? And now press into your blocks or the ground as you lift your gaze away from the floor. Bend your left knee to lift your left toes up off the earth. Stay right here with your breath, or with your right hand down, you might reach your left hand around for the left foot. If you're wearing pants, you might grab the leg of your pants or lasso a strap. But as you have a hold somewhere on the leg, think bottom ribs back, meaning like you're closing the shutters, slide the ribs towards each other, let the middle of your back expand. Now slide your ears back to lift your chin. You can play here exactly where you are, or to explore some balance, you might climb your right palm to the top of your right thigh. You might bring your right hand to your chest or reach your right arm up overhead for this version of leaping monkey. As you take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Can you look away from the floor and maybe bend one more inch into your right leg? Now inhale to release your right hand first, then let go of your left foot. Step it back to table onto all fours. A breath or two in stillness, a breath or two in cat and cow, to feel breath and body harmonize together once again. And now the side, with your hands on the floor or up on blocks, bring your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Walk your right knee back as needed so it's behind your right hip. And now as you press into the floor, lift your gaze away from the ground to see where you're going. Bend your right knee, lift the right toes up off the floor, breathe here the whole time. Or with your left hand steady, you might reach your right hand around for the pinky side edge of the foot, the leg of your pants, or lasso a strap. But as you hold somewhere on the leg, notice if ribs want to move forward. It is a back bend, but can you slide the ribs back, the shoulder blades together, and then look away from the earth? Stay where you are, climb your left palm to your left thigh, or maybe reach your left arm up overhead as you take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Maybe let that left thigh get heavier to the earth. Now release the hold of your left leg, left hand, plant your right foot and step it back to tabletop onto all fours. And from your table, bring your hands onto your sticky mat and come to sit onto your heels. Okay, a moment to play. So find your blanket. Does anyone need a blanket? If you do, I can bring one over to you. But as you find your blanket, you're going to bring the back half of your mat to meet your front. So you're sandwiching your mat in half. And then let your blanket come to where your mat used to be. Yeah? So back half to front, sandwich. And back a blanket onto the sticky mat. Make sense? Hopefully? Okay, this time, so once you're here, bring blocks onto the floor and come into your tabletop with your knees on the blanket. That's it. So your knees are on the blanket, your hands are onto your sticky mat, and now press into your blocks to lift your chest. Similar yet different to what we just did. Bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand into this lizard lunge. Once your right foot comes to the outside of your right hand, press into your blocks to lift your chest. Now here, your blanket won't be touching anything sticky, so slide your back knee back, walk your hands all the way back with you. One more time, slide your back knee back and bring your hands back. And now stay here as you straighten your right leg. Think like you're getting pulled by a long tail, and you send your hips back to lengthen through that right leg for this version of half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Flex those right pinky toes back. Press into your blocks to lift your chest. Try to look away from the ground. Now a deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every direction of your being. This is so much to work with. You can stay here, breathing into the back of your right thigh. Or completely optional, you might walk your left knee back with the block and walk your hands all the way back with you. Walk your knee back, bring your hands back. Stay here, or to explore some balance, you might bring your right hand to the outside of your right thigh. But do your best to flex your right foot, peel the right pinky toes back, and as you wrap your left hip forward, tack your right hip towards the back of your mat. A big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Try to press into your blocks to lift your heart. Even look away from the floor. And now on your inhale, walk it back. So walk your hands back, draw your left knee forward, and step it all the way back to tabletop, to all fours. How'd that go? Questions, thoughts, concerns? Oops. AC, more AC. Yes, good. I heard oops. I said, oh no, what happened? AC. Okay, we're going to 68. How's that? Yeah? Crispy cold. So the thing, okay, let's do the other side. Any questions about this version?
Seems like your legs are farther apart.
Mean like more at a diagonal? Yeah. Yes, which is fully reasonable. So Lindsay's question was, when we come into that lizard lunge version, instead of it feeling like your legs are on a balance beam, as if you could balance, my left foot is way off to the left and my right foot is off to the right. Totally reasonable. The thing that the reason I like to bring my legs hip-width distance apart is because, especially when the blanket is there, we're doing this second side with the back knee on the blanket, and then in a moment we're doing the front heel on the blanket, where what tends to happen, and no one did this, again, I'm just over-exaggerating, is here. The hips want to open off to the sides so that your hips can land onto the ground. But when my feet are a little wider, instead of very narrow, it helps me do this action that we've been working towards in lunge. Wrap this hip forward, tack this hip back, so that into that I can lengthen. Does that make sense? So you're not pulling at the attachments of the hamstring, but you're getting into the belly of the muscle. Let's try the other side. So come into all fours into your tabletop. Hands on the sticky mat or on the blocks. Is it the left foot? Okay, thank you. Left foot to the outside of your left hand to start. Now here, as you press into your blocks, do your best to look away from the ground. And now walk your right knee back and start by bringing your hands all the way back with you. Shimmy your right knee back. Walk your hands back. And now imagine like there's a long tail from your butt that you're getting pulled from. Send your hips back to lengthen through your left leg. And now as you flex your left foot and straighten your left knee, it's completely personal preference. You might keep your hands on the inside of that left leg to give your torso more room. To play with your balance, you might bring your left hand to the outside of the foot. But the right knee really wants to slide back. Can you wrap your right hip forward, your left hip back, and as you press into your blocks, look away from the ground. Stay right here with your breath. You might walk your right knee back. Bring your hands back to lift your chest. A big breath in and down. Stay for your exhale. Can you press into the earth? Think shoulder blades together as you look away from the floor to see where you're going. And now to come up and out, plant your palms. Hug your right knee forward. Step your left knee back to meet your right to come back to tabletop. Hands and knees. Whee! Sides feel different or the same? My right side feels like I have never stretched before in my life. When my right leg is forward and left leg is back, my body's like, you do not exist in this earthly form. But the left side, who knows? Okay, let's clear the blanket out of the way. Refold your mat over, make it nice and long. And once you find your way back to downward facing dog, take a breath or two here to let yourself arrive. Take a long breath in through the nose and a deeper breath out through your nose or mouth. We'll use that blanket a little later. From your down dog, walk your feet to come as wide as your mat. Tiny bend in your knees. And one palm at a time, walk those hands back to meet your feet so you fold somewhere at the back of your mat. Now you might have your strap close by, or you might interlace your fingers as we find a shoulder stretch here. So either with a strap between your hands at your low back, or let the webbing of your hands come together. Hug your shoulder blades together and reach your arms up overhead towards the sky. Take a tiny bend in your knees so that those don't lock out. Now a tiny bend in your elbows. You might not feel it, but you can see it, or you might not see it, but you can feel it. And now create some resistance. Try to tug your strap apart or fingers apart to bring the shoulder blades closer together on your upper back. A big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Maybe your arms reach overhead towards the front of the mat. And now inhale to release your hands back to your tush. Ditch your strap to the side. We'll use it later. Climb your palms up onto your hips. And on your inhale, come all the way up to rise as you release your hands by your sides. Come to the wall. We'll close this afternoon at the wall so you can bring all of your things with you, the short edge of your mat to the wall. There's lots of real estate on all three. There's space over here. There's the closet doors. Yeah, we can pull these curtains apart for you. You can come right here. Yeah. And then do bring all of your props, your blanket, your therapy balls, and your block. Thanks, y'all. Everyone finding some room? We can squeeze you in here. Kaushika, do you guys mind moving just an inch if we scooch everyone in? Use it. Yeah. Legs aren't going high up the wall to the sconces. Thank you. Okay. So we've done one, if not more, versions of Hanumanasana. Today, we'll explore one last round. So last week, if we were together, we worked towards Hanumanasana in that inverted variation in handstand. Today will be slightly different, where we'll be on the ground, but we'll use the wall as a little reference point. So this is what it'll start to look like. In a moment, last time we folded the back half of the mat. This time you'll fold the front half of your mat to meet the back, and your blanket will come to where your mat used to be, yeah? Now here, as you come into tabletop, your feet will touch the wall, and your feet will be the reference point for you to press something into. So once your feet come to the wall, your hands come onto the blocks. You can bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand so that your front leg comes onto the blanket. Now once your hand comes onto the blanket, this time you send your hips back to lengthen through this leg. So same version of half split. But last time our back knee was on the blanket. This time your front heel will be on the blanket. And now press into your blocks to lift your chest, and you slowly begin to reach the heel forward. The point of this is, if your hips touch the floor, incredible. Mine never will in this lifetime or the next lifetime. But what I'm really trying to focus on is my back foot to the wall. Yeah, you want to feel either the heel or the ball of your foot coming to the wall, because sometimes what tends to happen is the back leg becomes out of sight, out of mind. When you don't see it, it tends to do all sorts of things you don't expect. Sometimes, I got to do this side. Sometimes it goes here. Sometimes it goes here. Yeah, and when that back foot starts to move in one direction or the other, it translates up to the knee and up into the hip. So with your back foot on the wall, it'll help you find a reference point to keep that heel pushing into the wall, which might let you find more space in the hamstrings that there might not have been before. Does that make sense? So regardless of how high or low the hips are, I want you to feel the back leg against the wall. Let's try it out. So come on to all fours. If you haven't already, fold that sticky mat over. So bring the top half of your mat to meet the back. It's a lot of mat origami today. And then bring your blanket to the front half, like where your mat used to be. That's it. As you come into tabletop, let your feet touch the wall. Both feet to the wall and hands onto the floor or to your sticky mat. And now bring your left foot between your hands onto the blanket. Left foot to the blanket. That's it. Once your left foot comes onto the blanket, your hands are on blocks or on the ground, send your hips towards the wall to straighten your left leg, half split. Flex your left foot and straighten your left knee. Good, that's it. Flex the left foot, walk your hands back, and now lift your chest. Try to look to the middle of the room. This can be more than enough. Notice what you feel in the back of your left leg. Now press your right foot into the wall as you lift your chest up. Stay here, or maybe your left heel begins to slowly slide forward to the middle of the room as you flex your foot. As you reach your left heel forward, walk your hands back to lift your chest. Walk your hands back to lift your chest. And now press your right heel into the wall. That's it. Breathe. Take a long breath in and down. Stay for your exhale. You might slide your left heel an inch further forward as you walk your hands back to lift your heart. Try to look away from the floor. And now to come on back, press into your blocks, drag the left heel back to bend your left knee, and back into all fours into your tabletop position. How was that?
It's a little difficult to get my entire heel to the wall because of the mold.
Yes. Sometimes the heel will touch, but as long as some part of your foot is touching the wall, be it the ball or the middle of the foot, it just creates, Mariel always calls it the pebble in your shoe. Like it creates something's in there, I gotta pay attention to this. So you wanna feel like you can push that heel into the wall. One more side, last round, and then we'll never do this again until January. Let's try it out. So with your feet touching the wall, hands on the ground or on blocks, bring your right foot in between your hands onto the blanket. Now before you even move the right heel, can you send your hips back to straighten your right leg? Ardha Hanumanasana. Oh, good. Yes, 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 yes. You want to hug even more. Yep. So as you flex the right foot, walk your hands back, press into your blocks, look away from the ground, see where you're leaping to. And now that pebble in your shoe of your back foot at the wall, push it into the wall, and maybe begin to slide your right heel forward towards the middle of the room. Walk your hands back, lift up through your chest, walk your hands back to lift your heart, and as you push your back heel into the wall, can you grow taller through your spine to see where you're going? A big breath in. Try to stay for your exhale. Maybe you release an inch of the gripping of your hands around the blocks as you lift your chest taller to the sky. And now to come on out, press into the ground, drag the right heel back, bend your right knee to take it back to tabletop onto all fours. You can take a breath seated on your heels, in child's pose, in tabletop, with 3 deep breaths, just at your own pace. Hanumanasana. You know, I maybe said this a few weeks ago when I first brought this up, but one of the things in teacher training that we often teach is never take anyone's face personally in yoga class. You know, I know that when I'm practicing, my face is doing things that I don't expect or wouldn't do out in the world. But I mention that because oftentimes when I say, okay, we're doing full splits on a Monday afternoon in class, there's just a flash of something that comes across, not everyone's face, but some. And the reason why I like to say that now when we are in the middle of class is that from the beginning until where we are now, there's known territory of when you've walked into the unknown of full splits. And that metaphor isn't lost when we're practicing Hanumanasana with your back foot at the wall. The idea of keeping your back foot there is that you have something that you know, that you can hold, that you can use as a reference point, so that when you are taking this metaphorical or very literal leap of full splits, you're going from known to unknown territory, but being able to stand in the conviction of your own breath, in the conviction of your own self. So we have one more variation to try out, and then after this we're going to therapy ball and lie down. Because we're at the wall, this version of handstand with Hanumanasana in the legs. So we've done everything already to prepare, and now it's seeing, adding everything together. So for this one, you won't use your blanket, but in a moment I'll talk you through this. You come into your tabletop, and your tiny down dog at the wall. And now this time, one leg goes as high as it can possibly go up the wall, and your second foot comes halfway to meet it. So do you see, if you were to flip me over, this would be a lunge at the wall? You kind of see that? My hands just happen to be on the floor and my feet happen to be up the wall. It's the same orientation where back leg, front knee bent. And now, like we're moving towards pyramid pose, you straighten this leg, and only if it feels appropriate, you bring this foot up towards the ceiling. Now, as you wrap this hip to the middle of the room, so I'm trying to avoid opening the hips up to the side, I'm wrapping the hips to the middle, I'm looking between my hands, maybe this foot begins to reach overhead towards the middle of the room, like Hanumanasana, like we just did. One foot will always stay at the wall as you reach this leg to the middle of the room. And then to come out, foot to the wall, knees bent, walk it down. Child's pose or tabletop, or just a breath where your head can be below your chest so that you don't see stars when you're coming up. Yeah? So options include none of it. If you're like, I saw that and I really do not want to do that, Anisha, don't. No obligation. You can do a few things. Viparita Karani, which is that legs up the wall, that restorative inversion. You can also explore bringing one knee in towards your chest, reaching this leg up to the sky, and feeling that hamstring opener. Or your feet never have to come off the wall. Yeah? Meaning, you can explore what it's like to be here in this lunge, straighten the leg, and then come down. And just notice what it feels like to take this upside down. And now after this, we're doing some hip openers. Does everyone have something they want to explore and work on? I'll talk you through it. Call me over if you have any questions whatsoever. But if you're coming into any variation beyond this handstand and L at the wall, take your time to work at your own pace. But for those that are coming into this handstand variation, come into tabletop with your feet touching the wall, hands as wide as your mat. Take up some space. Now make your way to your tiny down dog at the wall. Lift your hips up to the sky. A breath here to arrive. A suggestion to look between your hands the whole time. And now as you lift your right leg as high up the wall as it can possibly go, straighten your right leg, flex your foot. Bring your left foot just halfway to meet it, only halfway. And now with your left knee bent, look between your hands. Push your left foot into the wall to straighten both legs. Think butt to the middle of the room. Breathe right here. Or you might reach your right legs first straight up to the ceiling. Look between your hands. Flex your right foot, straighten your right leg. And as you look between your hands, maybe your right heel begins to reach to the middle of the room as you breathe. When you do not want to do this any longer, feet to the wall, knees bent, rest for a breath in child's pose, in full pranam, or on your knees as you listen for your breath. Whew. How'd that go? That's one of the poses where when I feel this way in dancer pose too. In my mind's eye, in the picture of myself I have, my legs are in full splits, like Simone Biles jumping on the balance beam, feet into her mouth. And then when I see myself in this pose, my leg has moved an inch overhead. It has not moved beyond the center of gravity. And I mention that because that is the truest definition of the practice here. It is so much less about the form of the pose. Yeah, we're not seeking to, if you are, we love to see it. If you're seeking to reach your leg overhead, incredible. But these small actions of letting the inner thighs hug in towards each other and then begin to move, those small actions, I don't know why I'm doing this, but this is what I'm imagining my legs doing. That's the direction that you start to see progressive change in, rather than just letting the leg tip you over to the side. So however it feels or looks in your mind's eye, the breath is what we're seeking to cultivate. Let's do the last side. So if you did that version of handstand at the wall, one more side, and then in a moment, we'll all come to meet on our backs. So from your tabletop, hands as wide as your mat, come into your tiny down dog at the wall. Lift your left leg as high as it can go. Flex your left foot, straighten your left knee. And now bring your right foot just halfway to meet it with your right knee bent. Think like you're in a lunge. Now look between your hands, push through your palms, lift your butt up. And then maybe you straighten your right leg and reach your left heel first to the sky. As you look between your hands, maybe your left heel begins to reach towards the middle of the room. But press into the floor, lift your hips up, a breath, and then to come out, feet to the wall, feet to the floor, a breath in child's pose or in a seat, just so your head can be below your heart, if even for a moment or two. In through your nose, and out through the nose or mouth. Now after a few breaths, come on up to a seat, and if you haven't already, come to flip over onto your back with your feet to the wall, head to the middle of the room, and have a few things close by. So have your tennis therapy balls within a grabbable distance. You can place those off to the side. If anyone needs some, I can bring some over to you. You can raise a hand or a foot over. And have one of your blocks close by as well. Just place it somewhere that you can grab onto it. Once you find your way onto your back, bend your knees, bring both feet onto the ground. Let your feet come as wide as your mat and knock your knees into one another so that the weight of your legs supports the other. As your hands come onto your belly or onto your chest, take a big breath into your palms. And even open your mouth to let that breath go, to call yourself back to yourself. As we go upside down, there's a lot required of the body and being. Can you feel all of those parts of you that are touching the floor? And breathe into every one of those points as you take a longer breath in and a deeper breath out. Now, just being mindful of neighbors and any props around you, start by giving the right leg a hug in towards your belly or chest. Make some small circles with your right foot or your right ankle. You can spread your right toes and point the toes. And now, if there's enough room with you in the wall, begin to straighten your left leg towards the wall. Some part of your left foot might touch the wall itself. For a twist on your back, let your left hand hold your right thigh and move your right leg up and over to the left with a block or as many blocks as you'd like underneath the right thigh, the right shin, or the calf. But as your right hand rests on your ribs or on your belly or off to the side like a big T, take a deeper breath in through your nose and a longer breath out through your nose or parted lips. Now on your next inhale, draw your right leg up through center. Lower your right foot to the floor and give your left leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Start with some gentle circles in one or the other direction with the left ankle or the left foot. And now as you straighten your right leg long towards the wall, bring your right hand to hold your left thigh and move your left leg up and over to the right for that twist on your back. Again, your left hand can rest anywhere it feels supportive, on your belly or on your ribs or off to the side. But take a deeper breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through your nose or mouth. As you find your next breath in, draw your left leg up through center. Give both of your legs a hug in towards your belly or your chest. Perhaps you make some small circles in one or the other direction, or you lean from one side to the other. Or you might come into your version of happy baby as you widen your knees. Let your hands catch the backs of your thighs, your calves, or the pinky edges of your feet. Taking a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And as you release the hold of your legs down to the earth, a few things and offerings this afternoon. I'll talk you through therapy balls in the upper back, but if you'd like to set up early for rest, we'll meet you there momentarily. You're more than welcome to begin. But for those interested in the therapy balls in your upper back, you can keep them in their tote or take them out. But lift your head and your shoulders up off of the floor, and from the tops of your shoulder blades, pop the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades to the top tips of the shoulder blades themselves. You might bring your head down onto the floor, or if you'd like to alleviate any pressure, you might bring your head up onto a block at its lowest height. For this work with the therapy balls is less about being in the places of most intensity, but breathing through all the fluctuations. So as your hands fall anywhere they fall, on your body or alongside of you, take a deep breath in through the nose and open your mouth to let that breath go. We'll find 2 more places here in the upper back. So with your knees bent, feet on the ground, press through your legs to roll your body a few inches towards the middle of the room, the top of your mat. So you feel those therapy balls come down your back to the middle tips of your shoulder blades. Can bring and adjust the block with you as needed, but with your hips heavy on the ground, as you take a big breath in through the nose Open your mouth to let that breath go. And your arms can stay exactly as they are, alongside of you or on your body. Or to explore any gentle movement, you might reach your arms up towards the ceiling with your arms and palms soft. Just being mindful of any props or those around you, you might reach your right arm overhead towards the middle of the room. And then as your right arm comes back up to the sky, you might reach your left arm overhead. Continue at your pace, following your breath, taking longer breaths in through the nose and opening your mouth to let that breath go, to soften into the earth. And now, after a few breaths in the middle of your upper back, release your arms down by your sides. And for one last place, press through your legs and roll your body another few inches to the middle of the room. So the therapy balls come to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, or just slightly lower than where they've been the first two times. A big breath in. And open your mouth to let that breath go. Stay right here, or reach your arms up to the sky, and this time you might give yourself a hug, as if your hands could reach for the therapy balls behind your back. You might lean gently from side to side or stay still. If you are giving yourself that embrace, perhaps you switch which elbow is on top to notice any difference. But one more long breath in and a deeper breath out in every direction. And now unwrap your arms if they're wrapped around you. Clear any blocks from underneath you if they're there. And for that exit journey, you can either scooch your hips towards your heels and roll towards the wall to feel the therapy balls come up your back. You might also roll over onto one side to push them out of the way. But however they exit, can you let them fully exit for the remainder of your rest? For sometimes if they stay in for Shavasana, they create more tension than softness. But as you begin to drape your upper back onto the earth in any way, shape, or form, begin to prepare yourself for rest. You might let your hair down. You might set your glasses safely off to the side. But as the leap completed, can you let each round of breath slowly dissolve the entire practice that was? Let each breath help you arrive to where you are now. And every breath that comes after makes a little more space for what has yet to come. So as you let your breath, let your body become heavier into the floor, the heavier you become, the more expansive and the more spacious you might just start to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in and down so it fills you up. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. Let your breath begin to awaken the body that you're in with any gentle movement that feels supportive to you. You might roll your wrists or your ankles in one or the other direction. You might tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against its support. Or again, just watching for any props or those around you. Perhaps you reach your legs away from your arms or draw your knees in towards your chest. But when the time comes, you can bend both knees, reach one or both of your arms overhead, and roll over to any side of your choice to curl into yourself. Press down into the floor and come up to rise to a tall seat. You can face the middle of the room. If you'd like to sit with your back all the way up to the wall for some added support, please feel free to do so. But as you take a deep breath in and down, let it fill you up completely. And exhale to offer the breath up and out in every direction. We'll finish our time together with one more of those breaths. You can place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands or lift your hands towards your head in such a simple but sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to yourself and to each other who practiced right alongside with you. And I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone. Drink water, take care of yourselves. Happy summer. If there is anything you used from the studio, any mats or wipes, there is, or if you'd like to wipe your own, there's a bucket of wipes here just to give things a swipe with. It's always helpful. And I think that's it. There's so much stuff happening at the studio. If you've gone through your closets and you have clothing to donate or swap, Monique, who's a teacher here, is doing a clothing swap with her company, Let Me Know Clothing, on August 16th. Could be fun. Keyshawn is here with more vintage archive. Molly is here with Molly's Books and Records, and they're always doing events. Anything coming up? Not this week, but soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely, it's all in the road, getting.
Yes. Anyone else have announcements? Things from you, your worlds to see, to go to? Yes, it does. You can get tickets at Black Star. Is that all over the city or is that ICA?
I think it's going to be at the Kimball Center.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be between like Kimball and Wilma, and wherever it's Suzanne Roberts.
On Broad Street.
Yeah.
Fun.
So it'll be in there on the first Friday at the barn. I think the movie party's going to be at Cherry Street Theater.
Ooh. That's this Friday because it is August. Okay. Bye, y'all. See you soon. Thank you. Do I have anything? Thank you. Busy. Good. Yeah. Teaching. I know. But I'm going to, let me turn this off for a second. I got into a quilting retreat in Maine that I'm going to for a week in, not this Friday, but next Friday. Thank you. I'm so excited. I think I've never done anything like it. It's the best place on earth. but I'm going to a place that I've never been to. But this group has been leading these retreats